Today, we will be telling you all you need to know about sailing Doodles, biography, net worth, and lifestyle. You may have heard of the channel, but not know who is behind it. Not to worry, we will tell you. Sailing Doodles is a YouTube channel owned by Bobby White, whose story is quite an inspiring one. Bobby White is a true definition of the saying that says, "If life gives you lemons, you turn it to lemonades." He did turn his lemons to lemonades. Bobby White used to be a corporate jet pilot. An unexpected health condition took him off work, and instead of seeing this as a setback, he created something meaningful: Sailing Doodles. The channel is basically a blog that documents his travels and adventures while sailing his boat. This is not the only sailing channel on YouTube, but something makes it stand out amongst the rest, and you're about to find out. Bobby White is the brain behind Sailing Doodles, and there's so much to him that meets the eye. While he was a corporate pilot, he had done well for himself financially and has seen quite a lot of places around the world, but not by boat. He was living the dream when one day he had a stroke which put an end to his career as a pilot. The stroke he had was life-threatening. It meant the end of his career. He had to deal with the crucial first weeks after his stroke. One of the aftermath of his stroke was him not being able to read, but that didn't stop Bobby from teaching himself to read again. Piloting was definitely not an option for Bobby, so he tried other career paths. Unfortunately, nothing stuck with him. One day, in the midst of it all, Bobby sold all the things he owned, got filming kits, and started filming. What's a sailing vlog without a sailboat? The first thing he got was, of course, a sailing boat. He bought a 37 CNC, which was built in 1984. Since it was an old boat, there were some renovations that needed to be done. After about $4,000 of updates later, the boat was ready to sail. He named the series he filmed Sailing Doodles, after his two Labradoodle dogs, Goose and Maverick. The journey began in Houston. Bobby and his friend ventured in and traced along the coast of Texas to the Florida Keys. They would also sail through the Bahamas. It was there that they realized that rough seas was not the best when it comes to sailing the Caribbean. First, it did not hold enough water, and secondly, it did not hold enough fuel for a longer voyage. Another reason was that it was a bit difficult sailing in shallower waters due to the deep draft it had. But Bobby had better plans for his sailing voyage. He only planned to use rough seas for about a year till he's comfortable enough. Then, he will sell the boat in order to pursue a position with the crew on a bigger yacht. Bobby soon got a job asking another boat, which goes from Martine to Florida. By the time Rough Seas was already under contract to sell, things were looking up until disaster struck. A hurricane ravaged Puerto Rico. This was where Rough Seas docked. Rough Seas was unfortunately caught in the path of the hurricane and suffered a damaged hull and a broken mast. In the end, Bobby had to give up Rough Seas, and this brought him back to square one. Sailing Doodles was doing one at a time and had accumulated a few followers, so Bobby had just enough income from the blog to cater for himself, but only for a little while. He didn't even have enough to get himself another sailboat. But Bobby, being the man that he is, made the best out of the seemingly hopeless situation. Another lemon to lemonade action. He decided to turn Sailing Doodles into a travel vlog, and that's exactly what he did. This was what saved Sailing Doodles. He headed for Thailand, and there he got the opportunity to interview Ron Parson. Ron is the owner of Gulf Charters. Sailing Doodles toured their expanse and got to know the operations of the course, along with the interview Bobby did. Ron and Bobby soon developed a friendship, and another opportunity came for Bobby. One of Ron's many sailboats had been to Vancouver for 3 years, and he needed it to be sailed back to Thailand. The sailboat, named White Squall, was a 50 Beneteau. This was the deal. The boat can remain Bobby's as long as he brought the boat back to Thailand by August 2018. This was an opportunity that he couldn't pass up. As for White Squall, it had been docked for a while and was ready for a long trip across the ocean. Lauren, who was Bobby's girlfriend at the time, decided to join him in the voyage for 2 months. She worked as a traveling nurse at the time and was planning to get a nursing job in Florida. So Off they went. Bobby left Vancouver, had a stop by at Washington to pick up his girlfriend, and they began their trip south along the West Coast. But Laura's plan to stay for just 2 months soon changed. She had fallen in love with the sailing life, and turned out staying with Sailing Doodles for longer than she had planned. Soon, Sailing Doodles provided more revenue on YouTube, but it takes more than that to fund and maintain a 50-foot sailboat and create enough content for the channel. So, like a lot of other YouTube channels, Sailing Doodles offered followers to come on board on their sailing journey. They rented out the cabins on White Squall for people who wanted the Sailing Doodles experience. And people would often spend a week or a weekend on board. Renting a cabin included meals, and there were also some night watch shifts involved. It's all for the dream. This was how the channel could pay for fees that were needed to run the channel properly. They also scheduled meet and greets with fans of the channel. While doing all these, they had a deadline in mind. Ron Parson made things easy for them, helping them to chart their course so that they could make it back to Thailand in time, but they would also have enough content for their viewers. They made it just in time and sailed back to the United States. On getting there, Sailing Doodles purchased another sailboat and named it Naughty Dogs. This was a CT 56-foot sailboat. It was new to the gang, but it was stunning. Unfortunately, another disaster struck, which left Sailing Doodles with no sailboat and a sailing vlog waiting for content. Before we jump into this horrific disaster, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Let's get into it. Naughty Dogs was purchased in 2019, and just a year later, Naughty Dog's transmission blew up on a solo sail, which caused a fire on board. Bobby couldn't put out the fire, so he had to call the Coast Guard. He was rescued, but not in time to leave the boat unscathed. The boat was left burnt and sinking, back to square one again. The insurance company refused to pay for the $100,000 damage caused by the fire. But despite all these, Sailing Doodles is still thriving. They have been chatting boats in the Caribbean since Naughty Dog suffered the tragic fire incident, and they have managed to keep their fans and viewers coming back for more with the kinds of content they put out. They have 6 seasons on YouTube. Each week, you'll find a new video on their channel. Despite the current life situation, the channel still travels, but they remain socially distant. Sailing itself has always been a socially distant activity, so it's a win-win for the channel. As of now, Sailing Doodles has an estimated net worth of $800,000. That is impressive. They presently don't have a boat of their own, but they are still dishing out premium content. Sailing Doodles is a true example of how to deal with the chaos of sailing life. The channel has gone through very unexpected circumstances, and yet it is still standing till today. Be sure to check out Sailing Doodles' best moments here. See you there!